Hey guys, good afternoon. Let's do a quick recap of IMAX Q2 earnings. They were reported by the company on July 24th, 2025. About 1 week ago, the stock is trading now down at $25.28. You can see on the chart here that it broke down below the demand zone that I had where I wanted to accumulate. So I did add a little bit more today. I don't know how long this price decline is going to go on, but the next demand zone is down around $21 and $20.30, somewhere in that range. I don't know if it'll go back down that far, but if it does, I will be accumulating as we push down. I have a 12-month price target along with analysts, say by August of next year, of $32 for IMAX. From today's price, that implies a upside of 28%. If IMAX keeps going down, our upside over the next 12 months is even higher. And this price target is based on company projected revenues and earnings, communication from management, and using a industry average PE ratio to extrapolate what a price for the stock might be 12 months out. Here on the screen right now is my red, yellow, green dashboard, which I use to kind of give you a pictorial display of the risk of investing in IMAX, looking at some key things that you should be looking at on every ticker. We want to see all green on here to have the least amount of risk, and then we still need to look at the chart and expectations to figure out what is an ideal buy-in price, because something could be relatively risk-free but overpriced. So things we look at: profitability, earnings per share momentum, return on equity, the cash position, debt to equity, current ratio or working capital, expected revenue growth rate, dilution risk, management, short interest, is the company paying any dividends, and what the insider trading record looks like. In general, IMAX a very solid play. The next thing you need to do is look at the chart and pick your entry point. Looking at some of the highlights from IMAX's press release, a couple of things to point out here. The company had a 25% year-over-year increase in net income, adjusted EBITDA, EPS, and adjusted EPS. Increasing demand for IMAX drives the network growth momentum with 36 system installations in Q2, up 50% year over year, and 123 signings year to date versus 130 for the full year in 2024. You guys have seen some of the, several of the major chains talking about increasing their IMAX footprint going forward, and here we have some of the evidence of that. Strong year-over-year growth in IMAX box office, up 41%, contributes to high incremental profits with net income margin of 13%, up 760 basis points year-over-year, and adjusted EBITDA margin of 43%, also up 780 basis points year-over-year. IMAX's share of the global box office surged 19% year-over-year in Q2 as the company delivered the highest grossing quarter ever at the North American box office of $143 million. When we think about that footprint for IMAX, it is unmatched, really. 1,750 commercial multiplex locations in 89 countries and territories around the globe. You can see 375 here in the United States, 142 in Western Europe, and 796 in China, just to point out a couple. The customer demand globally for premium large format is really helping IMAX out. They have less than 1% of global box office screens, although as you can see from this orange line here, the global market share for IMAX is almost 4%. As we get into the second half of this year, Q4 especially, October through December, the IMAX showings are going to be very strong. We have Avatar: The Way of Water rescreening in October. We got Tron Ares in October, Mortal Kombat, Running Man, Predator Badlands, and then we get into the really big ones, Wicked, Zootopia, and Avatar Fire and Ash, which will carry over into Q1 of 2026. IMAX has a local language slate. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but that does considerably add to their net income. And then we have the 2026 slate, which everybody is super excited about. Mercy, The Bride, Project Hail Mary, the Super Mario Brothers movie sequel, The Mandalorian and Grogu, an untitled Spielberg film, Toy Story 5, Supergirl, Minions 3, Moana, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, Narnia, Avengers, Doomsday, and Dune Part 3. It's going to be quite an interesting movie slate next year. Because of the global demand from consumers for premium large format screens such as IMAX, the partnerships with the movie chains that are planning to add IMAX screens, the exceptional movie slate going into 2026, this will be a ticker that I continue to accumulate into any weakness here in Q3, July, August, September, and then hold on to that stock would be my plan into 2026. And hopefully everything meets our expectations for a phenomenal 2026, a very low risk hold over the next 12 to 18 months based on everything that I'm seeing right now. Just a couple of the highlights from the financials. Global box office for IMAX in Q2. 277 million compared to 196 million a year ago. Revenues for the company, 91.7 million versus 89 million same quarter a year ago. Gross margins, 58% versus 49.4% a year ago. Earnings per share, 20 cents for the quarter versus 7 cents Q2 a year ago. And adjusted EPS, 26 cents versus 18 cents a year ago. We can see from this slide the summary of operating cash flow. It is positive. The company has 109 million in cash, total liquidity, including a credit facility of $415 million, more than enough to help fund any expansions into the next year. They do have $231 million of convertible debt that is maturing on, what is the date here? April 1st. 2026, unless it is earlier repurchased, redeemed, or converted. IMAX has a long history over the last 5-6 years of repurchasing shares, especially when the price gets down, very close to fair value. It gets undervalued. Their average repurchase price has been $15.24 from 2020 through 2024. Breaking down the cash flow, $30.2 million first half of 2025 operating cash flow. When we subtract out the maintenance CapEx and the growth CapEx, we get a first half of 2025 free cash flow of $8.1 million. Just a reminder to wrap things up here, IMAX makes its money from content solutions. That includes film remastering and distribution, from technology products and services, including system sales to companies like AMC and Cinemark, system rentals, maintenance on those installed equipment, and finance income from the rentals of their equipment. In 2024, this middle bucket, technology products, was 61% of IMAX's total revenue. The top bucket, the content solutions, studios, and other content creators, film remastering and distribution, that was 35%. And then we have a other bucket, which was 3% of 2024 total revenue. The cool thing that I like about IMAX is the asset light balance sheet. They're not having to worry about paying rent and utilities. They kind of like the cuckoo. They go install their stuff in other people's nest, and then they just get to reap the benefits as long as the movie industry is growing. Overall, I love this stock. If you're investing in the entertainment industry, it's one that you should be considering, especially if you're able to grab it on a pullback and if you are bullish on box office going into 2026, 2027. Let me know your comments down below. Thank you for watching. I am Tony Denaro, and I will see ya on the next video.